Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the next chapter, that is biogeochemical cycle. And first, we need to understand what is the purpose. First point is we need to understand what is the purpose of biogeochemical cycle. Purpose is for cycling all the available nutrients, for cycling the nutrients between living and non-living things. For that reason, these biogeochemical cycles are existing in nature. Types of nutrients. We know that nutrients are of two types, macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients means those nutrients which is necessary in a huge amount, and micro means those nutrients that is required or necessary only in very trace amount. Then which are the macro and which are the micro? For macro, examples are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc. etc. Like that. For micronutrients, they are magnesium, zinc, sodium, etc. So, what is biogeochemical cycle? For giving a definition, how can we say that biogeochemical cycle? It is the cycling. It is the cycling of materials between living things and non-living things. This is a cycling of material between living things and non-living things. That is biogeochemical cycle. Then we need to understand the pattern and basic types of biogeochemical cycles. Mainly there are two types of cycles, gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle. Okay, then what is gaseous cycle? Gaseous cycle, as the name itself implies, is the cycling of gases that is present in the bio. So mainly there are three types of gaseous cycle. Understand how many types? Three types. Which are they? Carbon cycle is there. Nitrogen cycle is there. Then oxygen cycle is there. Which are the three important gaseous cycle? Carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle and oxygen cycle. And for all these gaseous cycle, the reservoir, for all cycles there will be one reservoir. In the case of gaseous cycle, the reservoir is atmosphere. Reservoir means what? Where that the main source of that cycling material resides, where, from where that element material that need to cycling is taking out, that is the reservoir. So for all the gaseous cycle, the reservoir is atmosphere. Then we are going to see what is sedimentary cycle. Sedimentary cycle, in the case of sedimentary cycle, the reservoir is lithosphere. Lithosphere means what? It is a rocky layer of the earth. It's a rocky, it's a substrate, outermost layer. For sedimentary cycle, the reservoir is lithosphere. Then which are the main sedimentary cycles? Phosphorus cycle and sulfur cycle. Okay, I think you understand up to here. Then two other terms are here, perfect cycle and imperfect cycle. As a name itself symbolified, perfect cycle means it is perfect. With what respect it is perfect? The nutrients that is replaced is replenished or regained as fast as towards the reservoir. How fast? Then that nutrients are taken away from the reservoir, that much speed itself is again returned to that main reservoir. Such type of cycles are called perfect. And also there is no loss in the amount of material. How much is taking out from the reservoir? That much itself is returning to that reservoir. So that's why It's called perfect cycle. Almost all gaseous cycles are perfect cycle. Then what is imperfect? Imperfect means the amount that is taken up from the reservoir is not completely returning back. Such type of cycle are called imperfect cycle. Sedimentary cycles are imperfect cycle. Then we are going to learn more about gaseous cycle. First one is carbon cycle. First point, what is the importance of carbon? We know that carbon is the basic component of protoplasm. Protoplasm, what is that? The cytoplasm that surrounds the nucleus is called protoplasm. So, carbon is the basic main component of protoplasm. Then what next? What other important? 49 percentage of dry weight of organism is carbon. And also it exists in all organic compounds like carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, etc. Okay. Then regarding this carbon cycle, it is a gaseous cycle and the reservoir is atmosphere. And carbon dioxide, its amount in the atmosphere, it is only 0.032 percentage. And in the ocean, its amount is 50 times than that of the amount present in the atmosphere. Ocean occupies 50 times of the amount present in the atmosphere with respect to the carbon. Then we are going to see the cycle. Reservoir is atmosphere. From the atmosphere, it is received by plants for photosynthesis. Then that plants using that carbon dioxide, they synthesize simple carbohydrates. And using that carbohydrates, it is again converted to complex organic compounds that is passing to other animals. And from these animals and also from these plants as a result of respiration, again it is returning back to the atmosphere. Then we are going to see other routes. Other routes means the dead and decaying carcasses, dead bodies of animals. By the action of microorganisms, the carbon locked up in their body also released back to the atmosphere. It's mainly by the action of microorganisms. And another route is by the burning forest fires that also return the carbon locked up in their body. These are how many routes are here for returning? 1, 2, 3. Three routes are here. Okay. Then in aquatic environment, there is another cycle existing here. From the atmosphere, carbon dioxide enters water, and from that water, the carbon dioxide enters the aquatic food chain. Okay, because aquatic plants receive this carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and synthesize carbohydrates from their the smallest animals like zooplankton consume that, and then by their respiration, again it is reaching the water or atmosphere. Then again it is received or taken in by the phytoplanktons again for photosynthesis. In that way, that cycle continues here. So aquatic environment itself, there is a special type of cycling is happening. Understand? Because here from the atmosphere, what carbon dioxide reach water, it again enters the aquatic food chain, and from the aquatic food chain as a result of respiration again return back to the atmosphere. From there again taking in. Then fossil fuel. From the fossil fuel and also by the weathering of rocks also carbon dioxide return back to the atmosphere. Its main reservoir. Then there is another feature regarding that aquatic system, oceans. Ocean acts as a sink, a bank of that carbon dioxide. For maintaining or also it significantly it helps in maintaining the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. How it is happening? When more carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere, it dissolves in water. And inside the water, it combines with the water to form carbonic acid. With the help of the carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Then what happens? This carbonic acid then breaks up into H plus and bicarbonate ion. And again, this bicarbonate splits up to form H plus and CO3 minus. All these steps are reversible because whenever the amount concentration of atmospheric carbon dioxide lower, all these reactions can happen in a backward direction and release carbon dioxide. When there is more carbon dioxide, it is taken up and can store in this form. Is another property. Another important thing regarding the carbon dioxide, its cycling, how it is held inside the ocean. So, ocean in that way acts as a sink of the carbon dioxide. Next, impact of human activity on carbon dioxide. How the human action affect, how the various human activities increase the amount of carbon dioxide by the consumption of fossil fuels. As we use more amount of fossil fuels, its burning release more carbon dioxide and contribute to the carbon cycle. Destruction of forest, this also increases the carbon dioxide because forest is taking up more amount of atmospheric carbon dioxide. So destruction of forest increase carbon dioxide, which in turn increase the greenhouse effect. That's about the carbon cycle. For your examination, at least one cycle may usually ask, so don't omit or avoid any of this cycle. Carbon dioxide, carbon cycle, and nitrogen cycles are very, very important. So we finish carbon cycle. So next we are going to see the nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen, what is this significant? It is present in protein. Protein, we know protein without our body, the main, almost all our body parts are composed of proteins. Almost all our enzymes are composed of are proteins. Okay, and it is also a gaseous cycle. Then nitrogen fixation. What is nitrogen fixation? It's a process of converting the nitrogen to nitrate. Listen here, nitrate. Only in this form, nitrate, eight, plants can use nitrogen for their growth. Okay. So nitrogen fixation is the process of conversion of nitrogen, gaseous nitrogen, to nitrates and ammonia. Annually, as a result of fixation, how much is fixing? 255 million metric tons are fixing. Two types of nitrogen fixation is there. Non-biological. The name itself telling that it is not biologically. Okay, and biological. Two types of fixation is there. Non-biological fixation is there and biological fixation. Non-biological fixation, how it is happening? With the help of cosmic radiation, lightning, volcanic eruptions, because enormous amount of energy is required for that process. How it is happening? As a result of this cosmic radiation, lightning, volcanic eruptions, high energy is generating. Using that energy, atmospheric nitrogen, oxygen and hydrogen combined and forms what? Nitrate. Sorry, not okay. Ammonia and nitrate. NO3 minus is there. Ammonia and nitrate is forming, and that nitrate through rainwater reach earth and is utilized by plants. From the plants it enters the body of animals and that cycle continues. Okay. Then artificial fertilizers. Artificial fertilizers means nitrogen fertilizers means it contains fixed nitrogen. So it is a result of some artificial chemical process which lead to generation of fixed nitrogen. What's that chemical process? That chemical process is Haber process. It is called the Haber process. What is actually happening in Haber process? Haber process means nitrogen gas and hydrogen gas, it combines to form ammonia. Then that ammonia is converting to ammonium nitrate. It is easily utilizable by plants. So that artificial nitrogen fertilizer contain what? Ammonium nitrate. It is forming how? By the combination mixing of nitrogen and hydrogen gas. So this is all about non-biological. And then biological fixation. Biological means with the help of microorganisms. How much nitrogen is fixed biologically? About 70%. Major contribution is done by biological fixation. So it's that much. This process is that much important. And who is fixing this nitrogen? Bacteria and blue-green algae. Which are fixing this nitrogen? Bacteria and blue-green algae. What's that process? Molecular nitrogen is there, and it is first splitting into nitrogen atom. For this step, more amount of energy is required. Then these atoms are combining to form, combine with the 3 molecules of H2. This nitrogen atom, 2 nitrogen atom combine with 3 molecules of hydrogen. For this step, an enzyme is required. That enzyme is called nitrogenase enzyme. That enzyme is present in all nitrogen fixing bacteria. So, by the combination of 2 atomic nitrogen with 3 molecules of H2, what is forming 2 molecules of ammonia. Okay. Here I am showing how this is 3 molecules of H2. So 1 molecule of ammonia is forming, again 1 molecule. In this way 2 molecules of ammonia is forming. This is the process. Then from the ammonia it can be again converted to nitrate. That nitrate is the utilizable form for the plants. That is the biological fixation. That biological means it involves the interventions of bacteria and blue-green algae. Why their intervention is important? Because they contain that specific enzyme. What enzyme? Nitrogenase enzyme. Next, types of nitrogen fixes. Symbiotic and non-symbiotic. Symbiotic means these nitrogen fixes are seen associated or seen inside the body of the plants. Because example is rhizobium. This rhizobium is found in the roots of certain plants. And in what way they symbiotically related to each other? This plants give food nourishment, carbon compounds for this rhizobium, and rhizobium in turn give the fixed nitrogen for the plants. So in that way both are benefiting each other. So they are called symbiotic nitrogen fixes. The non-symbiotic means there are also some organisms like Azotobacter and Clostridium, but they are seen outside the body of the plants. So they are called non-symbiotic. And they are found free in terrestrial and aquatic environment. Then we need to know what is the fate, what actually happened when the nitrogen is fixed. The fixed nitrogen reached the body of plants. Okay, there's no doubt. And after reaching the body of plants, then it become converted into numerous nitrogenous compounds and then enters the food chain through other consumers. And from their body as manures and also by their death, this nitrogen again reaches the soil. So that's the fate of that fixed nitrogen. Next, ammonification. All these process can be asked as 1 mark question separately for your examination. So, ammonification. What is ammonification? Mm, when an organism die, its body proteins are broken down to constitute the amino acids with the help of certain heterotrophic bacteria, actinomycetes, fungi. Uh, then what happens to that amino acids? The proteins are converted to amino acid by the help of heterotrophic bacteria. Then that amino acids again release or convert as ammonia. That process, the conversion of amino acid to ammonia, because that nitrogen actually not completely that amino acid is converting. In the amino acid, nitrogen is present. That nitrogen is actually releasing in the form of ammonia. So, as an end product, what is forming here? Ammonia. From where it is forming? From that amino acid. That amino acid came from where? From the breakdown of the body proteins of dead and decayed animal or plant parts. Then next process is nitrification. What is nitrification? As the name itself mean that it ends up in the formation of nitrate. Is a utilizable form of nitrogen. How it is forming? That process, that conversion goes through 2 steps. First step, ammonia is oxidized to nitrite. Here an organism is there, Nitrosomonas bacteria is there. Then second step, this nitrite is again oxidized to nitrate by nitrobacter. And what is forming? Nitrate. What is forming? As the end product, nitrate. So this nitrate is can be used by plants. Then denitrification. D means again a reversal of nitrification. That means from nitrate it is converting back to nitrites, then converting back to nitrous oxide, then again nitric oxide, and finally releasing back the nitrogen gas. This process is important for again releasing the nitrogen gas to its main reservoir. Okay. For this reaction to happen, the condition should be anaerobic. And this process is done by denitrifying bacteria like Pseudomonas, Thiobacillus denitrificans, Micrococcus denitrificans. Then what is assimilation? Assimilation means using up nitrate present in the soil enters the body of plants. Then plants produce certain proteins using that nitrate, and from the plants that nitrogen reaches the body of animals. By their death and decomposition, it again reaches the soil. This is called assimilation. Then locked nitrogen is another term. Locked nitrogen means it is not reaching the main reservoir. Locked nitrogen. When organisms die, mainly in aquatic system, its dead remains sink to the bottom and it is buried by sedimentary rocks under the ocean bottom. And those dead remains that locked up inside the sedimentary rocks is locked up there itself. It will not return back to the main reservoir. That is lost from the actual amount. That is locked nitrogen. Then human impact, how the various human activities affects the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere. By the use of more nitrogen fertilizers, the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere increases. From harvested crops, crop harvesting, that also lead to the release of more nitrogen to the atmosphere. Eutrophication means nutrient enrichment. Enrichment means what? As more amount of nitrogen and phosphorus accumulate in any aquatic medium that lead to the overgrowth of certain algae and gradually lead to the deterioration of that aquatic system, that is eutrophication. That also lead to the increase in the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere. Then fossil fuel burning also release enormous amount of nitrogen. From vehicles also enormous amount of nitrogen is releasing to the atmosphere. Then what is the difference between carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle? What is the difference? First difference is that um, two difference exist. First means the nitrogen cycle. For completing that, certain biological agents, microorganisms is necessary for, but for involvement of bacteria, without that involvement, only a little of nitrogen is available to the world. This in the case of carbon, it's not like that, because carbon without the direct intervention of microorganism itself, it is available for the food chain. But here, without this microorganism, about 70 percentage of nitrogen is fixed through biological process. For that microorganism is necessary. So one difference is that. Second difference, what? Second difference means it has a secondary loop. Nitrogen cycle has a secondary loop. I will explain that. Here the atmospheric nitrogen, with the help of nitrogen fixing bacteria, reach the body of organisms, and with the help of denitrifying bacteria, again the amount of nitrogen present in the dead body reach back to atmosphere. This is the normal cycle. Apart from this pathway, there is another secondary loop. Loop means from the body of or dead animals or plants, that nitrogen, without reaching the atmosphere, it directly reach the soil, and from the soil again the plant body. From the plant again it is passing to animals and entering the food chain, and then again by the death and decay of that animal again returns to the soil and used up by the plants. Here that nitrogen is not returned back to atmosphere, so it is a secondary loop. Presence of a secondary loop is another difference. With this we can finish today's section. Thank you.